but I just didn't want to forget anything. If you're taking notes, this is what works for me. And if you have any questions, we'll go through them, and I can also show you anything in the coach office as well. But my first tip is to check your subscription renewals. If you are a newer coach, you may not have too many people coming into the renewals, but if you've if you've coached a few years, you have people that are coming up on BOD subscription. That might be 3 months, 6 months, a year. They might have come in on a challenge pack and then never bought Shakeology again and continued with BOD. So my tip would be to get in, figure out who that is. And you do right in the coach office, you go into the monitor my business. I won't go through it all, but you click on it and you can drag and drop checking challengers to see who's up for BOD. And it shows the dates right there. And I do that at the beginning of every month. And I write down everybody who in January is going to renew. And I wrote, I think it was like 10 or 12 people. Well, out of those 10 or 12 people, I had this script that said, hope you had a great holiday. I just noticed your BOD subscription is renewing soon. I'm loving bar blend. That might be a great choice for you. And I tell them, of course, that the deal includes, that it's only $60 more. And basically they're getting product for free. And they love the idea of something, for a great deal. Again, I backdate that even 30 days. So say it already, you notice on your, you notice it goes through. You can still have them cancel their BOD and buy a challenge pack, because for them, you're looking out for them. They love that. You're building that trust. It shows them that you care. It also gets them into the routine of actually maybe getting back on Shakeology. Maybe they went off for a while, but they want to start it again. So you're kind of giving them that second month to try it. So this has worked really well. And as Jess said, 6 out of my 9 in December came from subscription renewals. So I had a lot of people, and same with January. I think I'm already at Success Club 8 this month. So, same type of thing as, looking out for your customers and, knowing who's coming up, and it can be 30 days back or 30 days forward. Okay. And my second thing is consistently share your journey. I'm sure you're already doing it, but, talk about it. Tell it in your stories. Talk about it in your posts. I would hope that everybody that I talk to, friends and family, know that I'm doing this program right now. Do your friends and family know you're doing a program? Be messy, be raw, be funny, be you. Still always learning to do that because I'm perfectionist at nature, but I'm trying to let go and let my kids get involved more. I was sick last week. So I took a couple days off, but I got back to it. I just kind of shared that deal I knew would really love the 160, so that was actually was 150 with the promo. So I went ahead and I reminded them of my recommendation, and I set my current, told them about the current deal. I created the FOMO around the group and formed a Snoop group for all potentials. So Amber Romero and we said, you know what, I think it was right after we did Black Friday. So we did a sale, and we kind of took that and we just kind of renamed it. So all those people who liked a deal, we just kind of kept going and said, now this is our bar blend Snoop group. And it's an exclusive group, and you could just pop people in for interest. And so everybody, that was a big hype. And, I shared info. I did the workout clips. I would make a really big deal about anybody who signed up. We would add them to this big board of names. So they got excited and they were like, well, I want to be in that. And we limited spots and gave a deadline. And then you can also do the deadline, I'm sure, in your stories. If you've ever used, you can say what, when you need to sign up by. So that creates that urgency of, I don't want to miss out. I want to be part of this. This is really cool. But really starting early in December, that helped me to have a great, great month. Number 4, treat your clients like gold. Send a thank you note. I really try to keep track of who I need to send stuff to. But a small thank you note goes a long way. Send a small gift. So I gave all my I call them bar babes, a pair of bar socks, and I got them on Amazon. I think it was like 4 for $15 or something. It wasn't too much. But that personal touch, and I sent it, and people were so excited and grateful for getting that. You could also, if you didn't have anything that you wanted to offer or pay for, you could offer recipes or something free that you're really good at. And then when you treat them well, they often give you a referral. So I don't always ask for this, but if I need a favor, sometimes I'll ask for a referral. But if you treat them like gold, they'll want to give you a referral as well. So, ask them if they have a friend that wants to join them to do bar or whatever program you're doing. And then welcome every new person into your group. Introduce them. Make sure that they feel connected to the group right away. So I always try to welcome them. I do a Bitmoji, but whatever's it could be a picture of them or something, but just to get them connected. And then in the beginning, connect with them. Usually I give them my cell number, so we're texting, but I ultimately ask what works best for them, if they're a text person or a messenger person. But that, giving them that treatment that they are special goes a long, long way. And then finally, number 5, know your goal and make it a non-negotiable. So write your goal down. I write mine down. I have 16 written there. It was 16 in December too, and I hit 18. So do you want to help 3 people? Do you want to help 5? I also knew I needed to help 8 people, 16, to not pay anything for Punta Cana this year. So I was motivated by, not having to pay for my Success Club trip. I wanted that to be a paid for trip. So I made that my goal, and I hit it 18 in December. So if you know what you're going to, hit, that helps to know. And then get to work and don't stop. So on December 31st, I worked up. We had a few people here, but I excused myself for 5 minutes to go help one more person get hooked up with the Bar Blend package with the promo code, because they love the promo code. And I used 9 of my 10 because I had some, my mom had some, Rick had some, and then I had an extra one that Carl gave. So also know how many promo codes you have. Know that you have that many. And then so 3 ladies signed up on the 31st because I was, passionate and followed up with them. So they appreciated that. And just to review, those are my 5. Check your subscription renewals, consistently share your journey, start early in the month, create FOMO, treat your clients like gold, and know your goal and make it a non-negotiable. And then my last slide, just know why you're here. Obviously my family is number 1. I'm here to spend more time with them and also be, a better mom, healthy mom for them. So my boys and my daughter. So let me sneak out of here. That'll be the trick. How do I get out? Exit. Okay. Is that helpful?
Super, super helpful. I would love to open it up for questions. You guys can just unmute yourself and ask Bethany.
I'll ask a question. How much time would you say you're devoting? Are you doing and I know this is going to be different for everybody, but do you have like a specific day of the week, like this is the day I do the check-ins, or do you just kind of do them on the fly as you're feeling, like just kind of to make sure that you're having that one-on-one connection with people?
Yeah, so I usually, are you talking about for the subscription renewals or just my connection with
just because like you're talking about making them feel like gold, and so for me a lot of that is just I'm trying to really be more cognizant about, once I have people, really keeping that connection strong. So
I
what
would
are
say
you doing for
early
that?
on, I mean, I get their text. If they like to text, I like to text because I feel like that's just, I don't know, just where you really connect with people, because it's a lot more casual versus, being like, Messenger is great too, but it really, it's a thing you can just say real quick, like how's your day? How was your first day? Whatever. So I do that early on. I would say with text message, as far as a certain day, I really don't have a specific day for that, but I don't know why I feel like early in the week or like midweek is a good way to check in, see how they're doing. Yeah.
All right, I got a question.
Hey, Liz.
Hey, where do you think you get more engagement from? Like from your stories or from your posts? Like which call to actions give you the most engagement?
Gosh, that's a good question. I would say I've gotten better at my posts so that I get more engagement. I often ask for like a GIF or something kind of fun. But I also do with stories. I feel like I'm trying to do more like not just fitness related. Like tonight I asked where I should hang. I really do want to know where I should hang something for Ireland in her room. Like, just like people love to give their opinion. So I feel like if you can do a question, like a poll in your stories at least once a day, and then I try to do a question once a day, but again, that changes because I feel like depending on if I have a real question, if I really want to know. But I would say both, depending. Again, I think too, it doesn't always necessarily like, it's funny, like I feel like people know me more because they get to know me in a different way. Like people always are like, oh my gosh, I love Ireland's da da da. And I'm like, how do you know about it? And they're like, oh, I follow you. I'm like, oh, you do? Like you don't even realize who. So looking to see who's following me is important too. And just building those like relationships.
How did you get better? You said you got better at posting. Like what did you do to get better?
Trial and error, really. I mean, I look back at some of my early stuff and I'm like, oh gosh, I asked that. But I try to do more posts that I think that I would respond to too. Like, as a mom, we all struggle like bedtime and things like that, or just like eating, like food. My kids, are picky. So I try to like think about what I would want to respond to and then, use posts on that. And then as far as like, I try to offer something that they would want to know about, like those cute little bar shoes for for Ireland. I was like, I would want to know that, and it just happened. It connected back to what I do. And I often think, oh my gosh, I post about workout and stuff all the time, but it's like, that's my life. It's like intertwined. So it's hard not to talk about stuff that you feel, so passionate about.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Bethany, how are you tracking who's coming up with your not bar renewals, bod renewals? Did you say that? Sorry.
Yeah. So, I think I don't know if I talked about this, but this is my, nomadic chart here.
Okay.
Not chart. Journal, kind of. It's just like a blank journal, but it also has calendar on there. So I write who I talk to, and then I can at least, I write what we're talking about. So like, for example, Danielle was a renewal and I wrote her name down, and then I check mark it. That means I followed up, too. And I have it split up as new on one side and then FUs on the other side, follow-ups. And then I just highlight if if they've purchased. So it helps me to see, okay, we're at 4, I'm at 4 for the month, helped 4 people. But then I can also go back to December, like who did I have a conversation with, that didn't necessarily purchase, but is still very interested. And then on this side, I put like what I have coming up. So I'll raise the bar. I have a free group going, dinner out of thin air, coach sneak peek. That's kind of an all month type of thing, but I'm doing one next week. And then I have a 3-day refresh at the end of the month. So I put what I'm doing on this side so that I can kind of like, some people, plug in at different spots. Like I just had a guy, an old boyfriend, ask about the 3-day refresh. So sent it to him,
Okay, that helps to know how you track. And then when you're following up with them, are you voice memo? Are you messaging on Facebook? Are you text? Like, what do you do? All of it?
Yeah, a little bit of each. So I did like that script that, and I'd be happy to share this slide if you guys want to copy anything or look at it again. But basically,
the script. So thank you.
I do the script first, but then I feel like to like explain if they ask about like Shakeology or something that just sounds better from like a personal, like from a voice, try to do that. So, if they ask for more information, it's just easier to check back. And I've done that too, where I've done a mix of things. I've sent a message, but then I've also followed up with like, hey, did that sound good or whatever? And then it's so cute. They'll message back with a memo. They're like, oh, we're talking like, or they're like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. So it's cute. So it's like you're even teaching just by doing a check-in. But also just meet them where they're at. People will come out and ask you, you have the same, you can reach out and talk to them too, same type of thing. Doesn't have to be about fitness, but just getting that first initial conversation going. Because they'll know what you do if you talk about it.
I have a question.
Hey, Noelle.
Hi. So as far as like your follow-ups, how often would you say you follow up with someone? And then basically if they don't, I'm always curious about this answer. If they don't respond to you, how long do you wait to follow up? Main question, or like how many times maybe even would you follow up with someone? Another question to that would be like, how many times would you follow up with someone if at one point they made it sound like they were interested or like wanted to get some more information, and then they just started like ghosting you? Do you have any advice?
Yes, I'm pretty persistent. So like, I mean, four times, I don't know. A lot of times it's like, I don't always come back with the same question, but I'll say, hey, did you, or I'll invite them, to like my challenge group, and then they'll say like no or ghost me on that. And then like a week or two later, I'll invite them to a free group, because then it's like another door, but it may have been money, but they didn't want to tell me it was a money thing or timing. And if they say not right now, or if they say they have something else, I say, is it okay if I check in with you in a month? And I try to write that down. Like people have told me they're trying something this month that like, that's fine.
Sure.
But would you mind if I checked in with you? So I would say, I don't think that a lot of us probably check in enough, personally. I think people forget. They forget. I mean, they forget and they think they've replied to you. A lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, I totally thought I got back to you on that. I am excited, but whatever. So I think it's more us feeling like we're bugging them, but really we're not. Because not everybody's like in Beachbody world.
I have started saying a few times to people that I've had conversations with in the past that have like shown interest or acted like, hey, maybe this could be something. And then all of a sudden they stop replying. And I've now sent like 3 messages. I'm like, I'm not trying to be annoying. I just want you to know that like, I still have you on, like, you're still on my mind. Like, I still want to help you if I can. And, like,
Exactly.
I think
and if you can,
feel like that makes me feel better when I approach it, to just be like, I'm not trying to be overwhelming. I'm just like letting you know that I haven't forgotten about you. And if I really, can help you, I would love to, sort of thing. So
yeah. And I used to worry like,
yeah, where you gauge your time at with that. I'm like, how often is too much though,
Yeah.
So
Well, and I would say like I used to worry about like seeing people, you know, like I'd go to mom's club meetings or whatever and like worry like, oh my gosh, that person never got back to me. Are they going to be weird? And it's just like, you know, it's more me worried about it. And so finally I've just like, it's me, you know, I don't worry what other people are thinking as much anymore. So I think you can follow up as much as you feel comfortable. If you feel bothersome, then I would probably stop and just wait because some people aren't ready. And then they come back like a year later and say, I'm in.
yeah.
And then I always find out who, you know, who's still watching and watching my stories because I'm like, I know that she still wants to. You know, she's watching me. I know. So.
Other questions, guys? Don't be shy. I know you're not shy. I know Bethany's definitely not shy. So.
Well, I'm getting more comfortable, but.
What do you say, Bethany, when people don't want to buy a challenge pack?
Well, lately I've been trying to figure out what works, you know, best for them. So if I feel like it's a money issue, then sometimes we'll talk about like, you know, just getting started with bod. You know, I offer sometimes samples. Typically don't send a whole lot of samples anymore because I have been burned. I mean, and it doesn't always turn into sales, but, you know, giving them a variety, like lately it's been, you know, if they can afford Energize, you know, getting them started with that. It used to be like the challenge pack was not the only entrance into my group, but lately I have let some bod members and it has turned into them watching everybody and they are, you know, they saw bar and we don't have an exclusive bar group. And I was telling Jess this, because we're sharing bar in the group, I've had 5 or 6 say, I'm getting it, I'm getting it, I'm getting it. Because they're seeing the FOMO, they're seeing it happening. They don't want to miss out. So, yes, they don't want to. So, you know, you don't have to give them the challenge pack, but it is something, of course, that starts them off in the right foot. I always say that's what I started with. And then they're like, oh, well, if you started that way. So, but, you know, you can let bod members in too.
If you offer the bod, do you typically go for like the full year right away, or are you more of like let's do the 3 months so that way, and hopefully in 3 months maybe they would move into a challenge pack, or kind of really leave it up to them?
Depending if they know about the year, you know, that kind of tends to be like, oh, that's a 99. And I'm a deal person too. Like I get that, you know, but then when I also say you can upgrade and get it for $60 and try Shakeology or Energize and Recover, they're like, oh, you know, so especially the bar blend now, I mean, they're getting, you know, they're getting a brand new program. When I tell them that, you know, I paid $160 for one program, you know, they're like, wow, you know, that value is there. So typically a year, I would say, but often those people come back.
Sure. And you're typically your ones that you just renewed with, they didn't necessarily just sign up with bod. They had a challenge pack potentially a year ago.
Potentially,
and
yes.
Kind of fell
so
off
it's almost like you're training them potentially to be getting
time they continue on their Shakeology.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want them in my group. I want them to feel welcomed, you know, in my group regardless. I hate like having to track every little thing, but I have started an Excel with when they've purchased at least, and then what they're getting. So we did a, what's it called? Like a Google sheet to figure out you know, where they're at and what they're using. Cause I really want to know what products they were using. And what nutrition program they were doing. That was really eye-opening. What nutrition?
I have another question.
Sure.
How do you continually find new people? I know you said that of your 9 people, you had 6 that were obviously prior customers, already current customers. So you're 3 new people, obviously hitting successful for 54 months. Are you like getting brand new people that you really don't know? Obviously, you hear a lot of times from like people who have, thousands of followers on like Instagram that they're clearly meeting random people on the internet. Is that the case for you, or is it a lot of people that you know and just over the course of the years, like you really come around and like I said, kind of re-signing people after a year, or is it a lot of new people, I guess?
Yeah. So 6 out of my 9 were renewals. And then one was a gal who was a referral of another gal who, had such a good experience. She said, she started a messenger and said, "This is my coach. You need to get this." So that was a referral. One gal had been watching me for years and I've never stopped inviting her. Literally. And I threw in the idea that she would be an amazing coach. So she came in as a coach. And then I'm trying to think of the third one. I can't find it right now, but so I would say a lot of, some new people, because you also hit Success Club, you also get free leads. So that helps too. And yeah, Instagram, any of those connections. I'm trying to get my Instagram followers to become Facebook friends because I feel like, I share more there, and then having the conversations offline, through Messenger, I feel like I really get to know people.
Okay, I have one more.
Sure.
I am getting ready to do like my first free group. I'm just going to do it for a week long. It's probably going to be in like 2 weeks. I'm almost a year into my bod, and so I was going to go back to 21 Day Fixed Real Time after I finished Lift 4, just go back to my mother program to celebrate like my 1 year. So like to get people hype, I thought it would be good to do a week just based around food prep, because that's something that like I've needed to refocus on. So I think that by like doing the group and having other people there, like that's going to help me be more accountable and do it. But do you have any tips for running the group? Because I've never done one by myself.
Yeah, for a free group, just do something that you're really good at or something that you enjoy. I keep it really brief, 2, 3 to 5 days usually for a free group, just because it is free and I'm offering my time and advice and services. So like my air fryer group right now, I don't know as much about air fryers as people think I know, but because I wanted to learn, it's pushing me to find recipes. It's pushing me to use it more. Like we used it tonight because we needed something fast with this concert. So I would say use anything that makes what makes you stand out too. Okay. Like I'm a busy mom, you are too, but that air fryer was hot for me right now because I knew a lot of people got it for Christmas too, and I knew people would want to use it. It's going to force me to use it.
I got an Instant Pot, so.
What'd you say?
I got an Instant Pot for Christmas. So.
Do an Instant Pot group, like anything that you think would, sets you apart, but also that you enjoy. Because people do like just clean eating or, clean eating groups I've done. Food prep's huge. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you would say yes to it, I think that's what I would do. But keep it 3 to 5 days, and keep it fun, light. You don't have to do a mix of fitness and nutrition. You can just do nutrition.
Yeah, that was going to be the focus, was just strictly the nutrition.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Noelle says, I was listening to a podcast today and they said, when you learn something new, teach it. It helps you learn. And remember yourself, you don't have to be an expert. I think that's so true.
Yep. And that's what, like Amber and I are doing, that air fryer group. Like we said, we're just stepping outside and trying it. And you know, tons of people wanting to do it. So, you got to pick what's hot at the moment, what something about. And we're dropping some healthy hints in too.
Have fun with it, I think.
That I can do.
Any other questions, guys? Bethany,
Kieran would like to let you guys know that he does not enjoy the Packers paraphernalia, Melissa in particular. I told him that a lot of you are Packer people, so,
Does he want to see it better? I can. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah.
Well, guys, I love Paul. Bethany, you're amazing. And I have a whole page full of tips, and we talk like every day, and I still learn things from you. I love calls where it's just hands-on and we're given a lot of really great tips. So thank you, because I know for a fact I've not been watching my subscription renewals very closely, and I'm losing points that way for sure. Plus I'm losing helping people get the best solution that way. So I've got a ton of notes, and this was super, super helpful. Guys, don't be afraid to follow up with Bethany and ask any questions that you have. And I am going to hop on live on the Rockstar Team Spirit page right now. I have some trivia questions for you. So if you want to give me like 5 more minutes of your time, hop on over there and answer my trivia questions. I'm going to draw a winner tomorrow. Okay? Anybody else have anything else they want to add? I'm seeing lots of thank yous. Yes, for sure. And I don't know, Bethany, if you are able to share your slides with us at all.
Yep, I will do that. No problem.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for taking time out of your busy night to be on. And Bethany, thank you so much. This was fabulous.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks for being on. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.